Representative Lucero has the floor.
So, Mr. Speaker, on this note, as we've been listening to the members that came before me, there are some serious questions that need to be answered. And the first of those questions needs to be by the chief author of the bill that we are debating, Chair Bernardi, Chair of the Higher Education Committee. So, Mr. Speaker, would Chair Bernardi yield for question?
I currently do not see her in the chamber. She will not yield.
Oh, that's unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that the chair of the committee, the chief author of the bill, chooses not to be on the floor during an important debate. Mr. Speaker, would the vice chair of the Higher Education Committee, Vice Chair Christensen, yield for a question?
Representative Lucero, repeat your question, please.
I haven't asked my question yet. Would Representative Christensen yield for a question?
She will not yield.
Well, that's unfortunate. So the chair and the vice chair of the Higher Education Committee will not yield for questions. Well, let's go down the rest of the committee members. Let's see if they'll yield for a question. Mr. Speaker, would Representative Howard yield for a question?
He will not yield.
Representative Howard will not yield. Mr. Speaker, would Representative Hansen yield for a question?
Nope.
Mr. Speaker, would Representative Keeler yield for a question?
I believe not. Representative who?
Keeler.
No.
Mr. Speaker, would Representative Claiborne yield for a question?
She will not.
Mr. Speaker, I just want a question answered on this provision. It's very important for me. It's very important to many members of this body. It's very important to all of Minnesota. And as we can see here, Mr. Speaker, members, the Democrats do not want to answer questions. They want to create bills with the tribunal, bring them to this floor, and they do not want to answer any questions that Minnesotans want answered. Mr. Speaker, would Representative Mason yield for a question?
Representative Mason will not yield.
There's 3 members left on the Higher Education Committee. Would Representative Knorr yield for a question?
Representative Knorr will not yield.
There's 2 members left on the Higher Education Committee. Mr. Speaker, would Representative Sandsteed yield for a question?
Representative Sandsteed will not yield.
There's 1 member left on the Higher Education Committee, the one that interrupted me earlier. Would Representative Thompson yield for a question?
No, absolutely not.
Representative Thompson will not yield for a question.
Well, I didn't think he would, because he doesn't dare answer questions from Representative Lucero.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.